Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Wake Up American, the daily American English pronunciation show where we just show you how to sound a little bit more natural in American English every single day of the work week Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Today, we're going to be focusing on sounds that or actually some phrases you can use when someone learns a secret of yours or you're interested, you're trying to find out how someone learned something. All of the words that we're going to be talking about are from a pronunciation group that we have on Telegram. So, our pronunciation group on Telegram looks a little bit like this. And what you're going to see is that on the left, you can see people have sent in their own pronunciation files, and we get feedback for it because every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every day of the week, I post a group of words. I provide some audio, and then all the group members can send in their own files for suggestions and things like that for feedback. Because that's really a key with pronunciation is you need to get a little bit of information every single day, just a little practice every single day. It doesn't take much, but you might notice today's Monday. Did you speak English this weekend? Did you speak it one day? Saturday and Sunday. Maybe you didn't speak it at all. And maybe right now you're feeling a little bit rusty because you haven't used English in a couple days. Well, pronunciation, you really need to study a little bit. Can you give 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, something like that? That's the whole reason why we do this live stream. That's the whole reason why we do our Mission English group, our Telegram group, to get a little bit of practice in daily. We're going to take a look at our expressions, but just want to say a quick hello to Shok. And here the words are. So let's just kind of run through these really, really quick. And then I'm going to show you some quick little tricks that you can use to get all of them sounding just a little bit more natural. How'd you know? Who told you? How'd you hear? What gave it away? How'd you find out? So we're going to be talking about some little things you can do with linking, reduction, stress, pitch, all of that fun stuff. Let's take a look at our first phrase here. How do you know? How do you know? So that's certainly one way that you could say that. If you say it like this, I would really recommend trying not to go too heavy on that D sound. So it's not how d. It's going to be more how do you, how do you, how do you. Very light D. Don't go too strong. American English really likes vowel sounds. We really aren't trying to get our consonant sounds too strong. So how do you? Another thing is you could reduce the U to ya. So you could say how do ya, how do ya. Or another way that you could say this is when you have a D sound that's followed by a U or a Y, that D often becomes like a ch, like in judge. So how do you or how do ya can become how'd you, how'd you, how'd you know, how'd you know, things like that. So, other things you want to be paying attention to when you're saying that no sound at the end, no, make sure that you're extending the breath slightly. I've been working with a lot of students on this recently because we do have classes and things like that over at fluentamerican.com. Making sure that you're not saying no, no, where the breath just kind of dies. No. Can you hear a difference between no and no? No, no. Do you hear how when I say no, the breath kind of just like keeps continuing? This is a key component of American English, something that not all languages are doing. So watch out for that very first phrase. How'd you know? Or how'd you know? Or how do you know? Or how do you know? Those are four different ways you could say that. Our next phrase, who told you? Who told you? See, we again have that D sound on told coming right before that U sound, right? So you can say this as told you, but another way you could say this is told ya. Who told you? Who told you? Who told ya? Who told ya? Different ways you could say that. When you're saying told, this tends to be a tricky sound as well for that all sound. All. I don't know if you can see it, but notice my lips, they're not really doing a whole lot of movement. All. So my lips are just kind of straight, not very wide. And notice that you don't really see my tongue doing a lot of movement. I'm just holding my tongue down. Odd. I look like a beaver and that animal with the big front teeth because there's that's all you see pretty much is just my teeth. old. Make sure you're not doing old, or like old, because that's too high placement. Our goal is to get old. Who told? Who told? Who told you? Who told you? One other thing I just want to mention about that ooh sound as well. So a quick hello to Edward. Thanks for checking in, Edward. Good to see you as always. For that ooh sound, I know you may be used to pronouncing it with very round lips, like ooh, something like that. Ooh, I'm kind of forcing them forward. You can see my lips moving forward when I do that. Ooh. But it might be helpful to actually have straight lips that are more closed and get more ooh. So can you compare ooh, 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 ooh? Which way are you using to pronounce your ooh sound? If you push your lips forward, you're probably going to get something that's closer to your first language. Most languages have an ooh sound of some sort, but American English is not going to have it sound like ooh. It's going to sound like ooh. So we see that on the word who, and we see that on the word you. So watch out for that. Our next phrase, how do you hear? Or how do you hear? Or how'd you hear? Or how'd you hear? These are all different patterns. And one of the things you're going to notice too, because we've already talked a lot about that D sound linking with you. One of the things you're going to notice is pitch. Pitch is super important for this. Our stressed word is our last one. So here in this case. So in this case, how'd you hear? So notice that your pattern is like going down 2 steps. How you, and then we're going to go up on our last step. Here. How'd you hear? How'd you hear? Or if you want to reduce that you to ya, how'd you hear? How'd you hear? Whatever you do, the key thing is make sure here goes up in pitch, but maybe even more important than that is making sure that you or ya goes down in pitch. Because just a lot of students who are coming to American English are just not using the full range of pitches that they need to get that natural sound. So how'd you hear? Or how'd you hear? Other thing to note, see how fast I'm saying you or ya? It's very fast. It's like how'd you, how'd you hear? Or how'd you hear? Both of those. Okay, so just some things to notice about that. How'd you hear? How'd you hear? When you're saying here, another thing to notice about that R sound. So it's not here with like an overly tense It's more here. That's the goal of the R sound that we're looking for. You can have the tip of your tongue down, or you can have your tip of your tongue high. Whatever you do, the goal is again an R sound. It's like It's like here, where is too tense. It's more here. If you find that a little tricky, just focus on saying Can you do that 3 times to keep it sounding smooth? Don't block the breath. Here. Try not to make that R too strong. Guys, in case you're just joining us, welcome. This is Wake Up American, where Monday through Friday, right at this time, it's around 8 a.m. New York time, we take a look at different words, expressions, sounds in American English pronunciation and give you tips. We're especially focused on things like placement, breath, pitch, trying to weaken your consonant sounds and trying to strengthen your vowel sounds as we look through these phrases. We're saying them not in a way that is necessarily clear. We're saying them in a way that is natural, how native speakers actually pronounce these things. In case we have not met before, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath, which is, again, one of those 4 key components for a natural accent. We have 2 more expressions we're going to take a look at. But before we do that, these words and phrases all come from our pronunciation group on Telegram. It looks like this, where basically every single day of the week, I post a group of words, I post some audio, and then students in the group can actually send in their own pronunciation files and get feedback, because 2 things that are key for pronunciation practice. You need to study a little bit every day. And you can let me know in the chat. Did you speak in English every day over the weekend? Yes? No? The other thing that's really key is that you need to know what to target and what to focus on. If you just ask your native speaker friends, why don't I sound natural when I say this? They'll say, just sounds weird. Doesn't sound right. Well, that's not very helpful feedback for you. We can actually tell you, oh, your placement's too high. We need to add more breath. We don't have enough pitches. Your syllables aren't balanced, things like that. So if that all sounds like something of interest, you want to get some practice with an actual teacher every single day of the week, this is your opportunity. I'm going to show you how can you join our pronunciation group on Telegram.
Visit fluentamerican.com for all of our pronunciation services, including memberships, including our daily Telegram program, where you send in files every day and get corrections from us, Mission English, where we meet twice a day in live stream classes, and also our paid video courses so you can start learning right away.
If you go to fluentamerican.com, you'll see our pronunciation group on Telegram. Jesus is asking the right questions. How do I join?
Question.
Exactly. I'm glad that actually came up. A quick note, the pronunciation group right now, it has gone up from the earlier price point. Earlier price point has gone up. We are currently at $12 per month. $12 for the month. And we have 10 spots left at that price. Okay, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, please get it quick because these spaces do fill up. We filled up our previous price point. We're going to fill up this one as well. So this is the best time to do that. All right, let's kind of wrap up our words here, shall we? Last couple phrases. We have two. What gave it away? What gave it away? Okay, and again, these are expressions that are talking about if someone finds out a secret or someone knows information and you don't know how they got that information. These are phrases you can use. So this is something. What gave it away? What gave it away? Notice the pattern here. What gave it away? And then way is going to be your stress. So that's going to be your high point. Gave it away. What gave it away? What gave it away? So making sure to have that sort of pattern. Notice some of the linking that's going on here. So what gave? I'm not saying what gave. I'm saying what gave. What gave? So what I'm doing, I'm using a held T or called a stop T. So I'm just not releasing that breath on that T sound. So it's not what gave. It becomes what gave. What gave? Notice that gave it. I'm not saying gave. I'm not saying gave. Pause. It. I'm saying gave. The. And I'm not saying it's away. I'm saying the way. So that T, when you have a T that's surrounded by vowels, you can see that I before it. You can see a letter A after it. It's going to become a fast D sound. It's like it away. It away. What gave it away? What gave it away? What gave it away? The other thing you want to be paying attention to is also speed. See how fast I saved the first part? What gave it a? What gave it a? What gave it a? This is one of the things that makes American English a little bit unique. So we're just joining all those together. What gave it a? What gave it a? What gave it a? What gave it a? And then we hold that way sound a little longer. Way. What gave it away? What gave it away? What gave it away? Things like that just help you get a more natural sound. And the last little phrase here. How'd you find out? So there's again 4 different ways you could say this. How do you find out? How'd you find out? How'd you find out? How'd you find out? On any of those are fine. How do you? How'd you? How'd you? How'd you? You're going to hear all of those. When the D links with the U sound, comes that J. The key part is that when you say find, you want that to be your lowest pitch. How'd you find out? How'd you find out? How'd you find out? So make sure you're doing down, 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 up. Going strong on your last little pitch there. How'd you find out? Other things for linking. Notice that that D sound on find is going to link with that ow sound on out. It's like find out, find out. How'd you find out? All right, let's kind of just run through all of these phrases again really, really quick. And by the way, guys, if you want to practice this again in the future, we have a podcast version of this, an audio version in case you want to take this on your commute with you. Just wanted to shout that out really quick. If you go to fluentamerican.com/podcast, or if you're listening on the podcast, we have a video version of this. If you go to youtube.com/fluentamerican, you'll be able to find the video version. Okay. But let's just say all these phrases twice. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to use the j sound for our contractions. So, how'd you know? How'd you know? Who told you? Who told you? How'd you hear? How'd you hear? What gave it away? What gave it away? How'd you find out? How'd you find out? All right, guys, let me know which of these phrases you find to be the easiest, the most difficult, the one that you use the most. All of those things would be super, super helpful for me. We will be back tomorrow with another edition of Wake Up American, which is all very, very exciting. You can catch the whole series again on our YouTube channel or our podcast. Once more, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath, which is one of the 4 key ingredients to a natural sound in American English pronunciation. Happy Monday, everyone. Have a good start to your week. I'll be back tomorrow, and you guys take